Santa Sofia is a church in Benevento, southern Italy, one of the main surviving examples of Lombard architecture. In 2011, it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site as part of a group of 7 inscribed as Longobards in Italy. Places of the Power. History. The church was founded by the Lombard Regis II of Benevento around 760, as testified by numerous privileges signed by him, some of which are in the Museum of Samnium near the church. The edifice was modelled on the Palatine Chapel of the Lombard kingly at Prand in Pavia, and after the defeat of Desiderius by Charlemagne and the fall of the Lombard kingdom in northern Italy, it became the national church of the Lombards who had taken shelter in the Duchy of Benevento. The church was part of a large program of construction which would legitimate Regis' claim as the highest Lombard authority. After his failed attempt to acquire the title of king and the renaming of the duchy as a principality, Regis dedicated it to Saint Sophia. Like the Hagia Sophia Basilica in Constantinople, he also annexed a Benedictine female convent, depending from the Abbey of Monte Cassino and led by his sister Garipega. The sanctuary would also house the relics of Saint Mercurius, abandoned in 633 near Quintodecimo by the Eastern Roman Emperor Constans II. The church was severely damaged by earthquakes in 1688 and 1702, which caused the original dome and some later medieval additions. Cardinal Orsini, the future Pope Benedict XIII, had the church rebuilt in Baroque style. The restoration work, started in 1705, transformed the plan from a stela to a circular one, added 2 side chapels, and changed the appearance of the apse, of the facade and of the pillars. Further, the frescoes which decorated the interior were mostly destroyed. Today only a few fragments, depicting the stories of Christ and Mary, remain. In 1957 most of the original appearance was restored, basing on evidence from historical documentation, with the exception of the Baroque facade. Description. The church is on a central plan, with a diameter of 23.5 meters, inspired to that of Hagia Sophia. In the center there are 6 columns, perhaps taken from the city's ancient temple of Isis, placed at the vertexes of a hexagon and connected by arches which support the dome. The internal hexagon is surrounded by a decagonal ring with 8 pillars in white limestone and 2 columns in the sides of the entrance. The area of the 3 apses is circular, but the central and frontal parts form part of a star, interrupted by the portal, with 4 niches in the corners. In the exterior, embedded in the 18th century facade, is a Romanesque portal, whose lunette has a 13th century bas-relief. The latter was originally part of the Prothyrum, now destroyed, and depicts Christ enthroned between the Virgin, Saint Marcus and Gregory the Abbot. The portal is flanked by 2 columns supporting another arch. Stylistically, there are several influenced. The elevated central body derives from the Church of Santa Maria in Pertica of Pavia, while the articulation of the volumes shows the influence of Byzantine architecture. Aside from some modern statues, artworks include the late 8th to early 9th century frescoes, of which only fragments survive in the 2 side apses. The Annunciation of Zacharias, Mutism of Zacharias, the Annunciation and the Visitation. They were executed by artists linked to the miniature school of Benevento. The bell tower was built by one abbot Gregory II under the rule of Pandolf III of Salerno, as testified by an inscription in Lombard script, and protected the sepulchre of Regis II. It crumbled down in the earthquake of 1688 and was rebuilt in 1703 in a different position. The church has a cloister from the 12th century, constructed in part of fragments of earlier buildings. The cloister give access to the Samnium Museum, with sections of remains from Ancient Age and Middle Ages. These include an obelisk, one of the 2 that once decorated the Temple of Isis. The other one can be still seen in the city, in the central Piazza Papiniano.